one, he hasn't seen before, and that two, he'll have to adjust to be successful.
Height, discipline, and Xander's actually a good puncher, and he also knows how to work to the body. So Xander is a complete fighter. I don't know how many complete fighters Boots really has faced, but unlike the guy he fought from overseas who was a decent fighter but he wasn't complete, Xander's complete.
But Zayas is, again, he's the most marketable guy right now in this hemisphere, I think, as far as young guys. Not that Ennis isn't. Again, but that Puerto Rican fan base, if you give them a champion like that with all the marketability that Zayas has, they will blend in very nicely.
I think he's got to apply constant pressure, attack at angles. You got to rough him up. It's got to be a nugget fight. Make it a nugget fight. You got to push him back. I don't care, elbows, whatever it takes. Whatever the referee doesn't see, it's boxing. If the referee doesn't see it, then it's legal.
A lot of people believed Boots Ennis would easily handle Xander Zayas, but experienced voices inside the boxing world saw the matchup very differently. Hall of Fame coach Robert Garcia explained that Zayas wasn't stepping in as some overlooked challenger, but as a unified champion carrying real confidence into the fight. He also pointed out that even if Boots holds the edge in natural talent, Xander's strength and comfort fighting at 154 pounds could become a major factor once the action starts.
Maybe a little bit of giving Boots more chance. I mean, giving Xander more chance because look, Xander is already a champion that's already a unified champion, so his confidence is up. Boots is the one moving up in weight to fight at 154. So, when Vargas fought Trinidad was solid at that division, kicking ass, knocking everybody out. So I think that's a big difference there. I think Boots, as talented as he is, I think he still hasn't really tested the 154.
Andre Ward praised Xander Zayas for being technically sharp, complete in every area, and built on solid fundamentals that continue improving with each fight. He felt Zayas possessed the ability to create real challenges for Boots Ennis, even with the enormous jump in opposition standing in front of him.
On ESPN, he's got a lot to like. He's got the range, he's got the height, he's tough. He's got a whole country behind him, and he fully embraces trying to be the next great Puerto Rican champion. And he's gonna cause some problems for Boots Ennis fight. But the question, my initial question is this too soon? Or is it the right time? Is it ripe and the right time for Xander Zayas? And for Jaron Boots Ennis, he needed this name. He needed this kind of matchup because that's been the biggest knock on him. It's like...
Ward did mention that Boots Ennis was initially aiming for a showdown with Virgil Ortiz before the fight with Xander Zayas eventually came together. Still, he emphasized that Zayas is a polished and highly dangerous opponent, turning the contest into a much bigger challenge than many expected from the original direction.
Yes, because those two guys were kind of on a collision course. However, I think Golden Boy and Virgil Ortiz had some issues. So now Boots went to the next best thing, which is even better than Virgil Ortiz. He went to Xander Zayas. But Xander Zayas is a very good fighter, a fighter who I think presents next to the most, he's probably the second most fight in the weight class because he's rangy. He can do so many things. He can fight inside. He can fight outside. He's a great body puncher. He's a very, very...
Even with all the respect he gave Xander Zayas, Ward still wondered if this opportunity may have arrived too soon in the young fighter's progression. He believed there were legitimate questions about whether Xander was fully prepared for a challenge this massive, and that uncertainty by itself made the outcome extremely difficult to call with any real certainty.
Think about, is it too soon for Xander Zayas? Is it a year too soon? Is it a year and a half too soon? Some would say, but he's still he's a two-time world champion. That doesn't mean that he's ready for this. I think Xander, and I like Xander a lot. I like him a lot personally. I like his movement. I like how he's carried himself, and I like him. I've seen his growth, calling his fights on ESPN. He's got a lot to like. He's got the range. He's got the height. He's tough. He's got a whole country behind him, and he fully embraces trying to be the next great Puerto Rican champion.
Roy Jones Jr., a former undisputed champion across 4 weight divisions, also stated that pure ability without structure resembles carrying a loaded gun without direction. That style is dangerous, explosive, yet hard to control under extreme pressure. He said the fighter who mixes intelligence with the right mentality would ultimately control his own destiny when pressure reaches its peak inside the ring at the highest level possible there now.
What does that mean from like a technical X's and O's aspect for him? Because he's always been a good athlete, a good athletic fighter with talent, but not always able to put it all together to get to a championship.
Because being a good athletic fighter, not having a plan or a concept does you no good. It's like you're having a fast car, but you don't have a map how to get to California. What good is that going to do you? When you get a map to get to California, now you know how to navigate your way to California with that fast car. You can probably get that faster than most people because you have a map and know where you're going now. But without a map, you just run in circles. When I got him, he was just a map. He was just a fast car.
Oscar De La Hoya, a Hall of Fame fighter and one of the most influential promotional figures in boxing, called this matchup a true stylistic battle where both athletes bring elite-level skill sets into the ring. He gave a slight edge to Boots because of his current momentum and recent form, but he also stressed that Zayas is extremely dangerous in his own right and fully capable of turning this into a tightly contested fight where neither side can afford to relax at any moment.
Said it now it's Zayas and Ennis.
Correct.
But how do you see that fight going?
Yeah, I think it's a great, stylistically, it's a great matchup. I think Boots is very, very talented. He's in his prime, obviously. He's facing a guy who knows how to use his distance and throws hard punches, combinations. He has the will to win. I mean, this is going to be a great fight. I don't know who's going to win. It's tough to call, but you might have to give the edge to Boots just because he's on a...
Shane Mosley, a former three-division world champion, said the clash between Xander Zayas and Jaron "Boots" Ennis was being underestimated and was much tighter on paper than most fans believed. He pointed out that Ennis brings elite skill, speed, and real knockout power, but he also made it clear that Zayas has enough ability and composure to stay competitive and should not be dismissed in this kind of fight. Mosley rejected the idea of a one-sided matchup, stressing that Boots was not walking into an easy assignment and that the odds were failing to reflect just how balanced and competitive the bout could become.
Xander Zayas, Jaron "Boots" Ennis at 28 years old. He has 35 knockouts, 31 knockouts in 35 fights. He's the favorite. He's a 5-1 favorite going into it right now. What are your thoughts? I think it's a little bit too much. I think it's a lot closer than.
Yeah, I think it's a lot closer too because Xander Zayas is a really good boxer, puncher. Well, you know, he's really big for 154.
Absolutely.
And I think that he can move around really good. He's got a lot of good, great combinations and stuff like that. But it's going to be a tough fight for him because Boots is actually a big fighter too.
Mosley maintained the same view while explaining that Boots was not simply a power fighter, but a fully developed boxer with deep technical skill layers that made him dangerous across all phases of the fight. At the same moment, he cautioned that Zayas possessed the exact tools needed to turn this into a scrappy, awkward, and closely contested battle. From his perspective, there was no runaway favorite with both fighters offering so much.
He has a lot of skills, not just punching power, but he has a lot of boxing skills as well. And he can go from right-handed to left-handed, you know, at any time. So that could be a problem for Xander Zayas. But I think both guys, it's gonna be a hard fight, and I think it'll be a very interesting fight to see what happens. So I'm not really sure the outcome of that, but I think that it'll be a great fight.
Shane Mosley shifted into tactical breakdown, explaining that if Zayas wanted any real chance to survive and come out on top, he could not afford to be a stationary target in front of Boots at any point in the fight. In his view, the winning formula would require non-stop punch output, consistent pressure, sharp lateral movement, and a game plan designed to constantly disrupt Boots' rhythm and force him to reset. He warned that the moment Zayas becomes static, he risks being systematically broken down by one of the most accurate and technically refined fighters in the division.
I think that Xander Zayas will have to be more of a volume puncher, kind of like with, you know, what I'm thinking his name, Fendura.
Yes.
Like Fendura was like a volume puncher. And I think that he has to keep Boots in his, you know, occupied with all the punches and movements and stuff like that. But if he stays there right in front of him, then, you know, then Boots is going to, you know, take his toll on him. But I think that activity for Xander Zayas will be the key.
Max Kellerman and the panel also pointed out that Jaron "Boots" Ennis had reached a level in his career where no opponent, including Zayas, could be viewed as an easy assignment anymore. They noted that fighters at the elite tier often face real difficulty finding willing challengers, which can push them into more forceful, aggressive decisions just to make the biggest matchups happen at all.
Other than Virgil, we just showed the whole list.
But
Lots
Xander,
of guys in this division.
I'm here. He's about to fight Xander. Xander ain't no cupcake. That's my young boy. He can fight too. Boots at this level, I look, man. Whoever is in his weight class, it's a lot of greats on his weight class. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Here's the thing: when you're as good as Boots, and a lot of guys maybe don't want to fight you because they have a future and they want to. Then you have to do things to entice them to get in the ring with you. Sometimes you have to negotiate against yourself a little bit. Sometimes you have to be willing to cast a wider net. You've got to do things to land.
Paulie Malignaggi said that Xander Zayas was being placed into a high-risk matchup against Jaron "Boots" Ennis earlier than many would normally expect in a fighter's development, but he respected the fact that Zayas was willing to face anyone without hesitation. He also emphasized that Ennis is already regarded as one of the most dangerous competitors in boxing today, framing the fight as a classic risk versus reward scenario where both men are stepping into significant danger for high-stakes opportunity.
All right, talk to me, Xander Zayas, Boots, man. Heated press conference. What do you think about it?
I didn't see the press conference, but I am surprised they put in Xander that early. Listen, Xander will fight anybody. He's that kind of fighter. Super marketable fighter, so that's why I was surprised that they're taking this chance with him a little early. If he wins, he's a megastar. Ennis is one of the best fighters in the sport today. This is a fight I think both of them need, but I think Ennis needed it more because Ennis is a little older. With Zayas, you had time to wait on this kind of risk. So credit to both guys for making it. Credit to DAZN for making it, for getting all these promoters together and making it.
Zab Judah, a former undisputed junior welterweight world champion, argued that Boots Ennis had already been tested against a far higher caliber of opposition compared to Zayas over the course of their careers. He emphasized that competing in deeper, more demanding fights builds a type of experience that cannot be replicated in training alone, and in his view that edge gave Boots a clear and meaningful advantage that should not be dismissed when stepping into fight night.
Got in the gym experience, and then you have in the fight experience.
In the fight experience, fighting different opponents, the European fighters, the tough guys, what's the guy's name that he fought last?
The Lema?
No, you got like the girl name. Karen,
yeah, he fought him twice. He was pretty good.
Great. Who fought him twice?
Jaron.
Okay. So
Zab Judah reinforced that same argument, stressing that experience would be the most decisive factor going into this matchup. He pointed out that Boots Ennis had been shaped through tougher preparation, stronger training settings, and a more advanced overall development path throughout his career. In his view, those advantages wouldn't just exist on paper. They would begin to reveal themselves as the rounds piled up and the fight wore on inside the ring.
No, I don't think so. But because think about it, you got 35. But listen.
Is it 60-40?
I don't know where. The reason why I don't know where it's at.
Bullshit. We know where it's at.
No,
I'm talking 70-20.
The reason why, right? Because he has more fights.
70-20 mils, 70-20 resumes, comparisons. Boots has a 70% resume of great guys compared to Xander Zayas.
This is where you go
he
wrong.
He only fought a couple good guys, man. What are you saying?
This is where we're going wrong.
This is
not 35 solid guys.
James Toney, a former multi-division world champion known for his blunt and uncompromising takes, warned that Zayas was stepping into a genuinely dangerous level of opposition against Boots Ennis. He suggested that Xander may not yet be fully prepared for the intensity and skill he was about to face, adding that the gap in levels would likely become obvious very early once the fight got underway.
Let's see, man. Boots is a bad motherfucker. Anyway, this kid is about to get ruined.
What?
This kid is about to get ruined.
Oh, no.
He ain't ready yet. He's a good fighter, but he's not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? You're about to find out.
Oh, my
God. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Look, Boo's gonna have to really show me. I know the kid.
James Toney took his criticism a step further, saying that courage and willingness alone would not be enough for Zayas against a fighter with the level of skill and overall ability that Boots Ennis brings. He made it clear that, in his assessment, Xander had almost no realistic path to victory and delivered that judgment in a completely direct, no-nonsense manner that left no space for doubt, softening, or alternative interpretation.
Guns get you hurt.
In that order.
I've seen Xander fight. I've seen the opposition he's been in against. Man, come on, dog.
No?
No way. No possible way.
Corey Spinks agreed with that assessment, stating that Boots Ennis possessed a clear technical advantage over Zayas across nearly every department of boxing. He explained that Xander's only realistic path to success would come from his mindset, his determination, toughness, and unwillingness to accept the idea that the gap between them was as large as many observers claim.
I ain't saying like Boots is not better than. Xander is not better than Boots by far. You know, Boots has superior skills. He's slippery. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I think this kid will to win. It might push him there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could push you there, but it's up to Boots to be that phenomenal fighter that we've.
Doug Fisher praised Zayas for his steady rise and his achievement in becoming a unified champion, but admitted he was never fully convinced by the impact of his performances inside the ring. He described Xander as a fundamentally sound, balanced fighter, yet not one who consistently delivers the explosive moments associated with top-tier elite names. In his view, that absence of elite-level finishing power could become a major problem when matched against a dangerous and highly efficient fighter like Boots Ennis.
He just got both those belts in his last 2 fights, and he's going to risk it all against Jaron Boots Ennis, who everybody thinks they're already anointing him not only #1 at junior middleweight, they're calling him, what's up, Thomas? They're calling him pound for pound. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but they're going him by the eye test. He looks like the goods. He's dynamic. Xander has never impressed me. Like, he gets the win, but until these last 2 fights, I've never watched a Xander Zayas fight and said, oh, shit. I don't get excited watching Xander like I did watching Felix Trinidad.
Gotcha. Doug Fisher described Boots Ennis as a quick, smooth, and inventive puncher capable of dismantling opponents with combinations coming from all directions at any moment in the fight. He also admitted that he has always been naturally drawn to fighters with strong knockout ability, adding that Zayas does not yet possess the same level of finishing power seen in traditional boxer punchers he has long respected and favored within the sport.
Fast, powerful combinations and offensive creativity. He pivots on the inside, and he's mixing up his combinations to the body and the head really, really well. And he gets the knockout. And that carries a lot of weight.
A lot of the people that
and Xander hasn't gotten a lot of knockouts.
True.
And that's a bias on my part. I like knockouts, you know what I mean? My favorite fighters were boxers, but they were boxer punchers, like Felix Trinidad or Terry Norris was a big favorite, and of course my boyhood idol.
Greg Hackett pushed back on the idea that Xander Zayas might be too young or inexperienced for a matchup of this magnitude, arguing that age and timing often don't matter in boxing the way people claim they do. In his view, avoiding true challenges only delays the process of discovering who the best fighter really is, which he said is the entire purpose of the sport. He made it clear that fights like this are essential because someone eventually has to step up and prove their level inside the ring rather than just speak on it, calling this the ideal moment to separate hype from reality and finally get definitive answers.
They should have waited a little bit longer for Xander, maybe when he hit 25 years old, to give this fight, or it's okay that even though he's 23?
The only thing is, you could always say that, but then it's like, who's the man? Who's really the man? You know what I mean? So how we gonna figure that out if nobody's fighting? You know what I'm saying? If you always fighting a guy that we never heard of or a guy we don't really respect, who's really the man? Who's the guy? You know what I mean? So I think it's perfect timing because we need to see who's the guy. You know what I mean? It's a lot of talk about everybody being the best. And it's not always the 54-pounders talking like that, but it need to be some understanding. And I think this is getting to some understanding.
Greg Hackett also broke the matchup down as a pure clash of styles, explaining that it goes far beyond just technical ability. In his view, it's a full collision of attributes being tested in one fight. He highlighted Boots Ennis bringing speed, power, and relentless intensity, while also stressing that Zayas cannot be dismissed because of his natural advantages in size, youth, and confidence. He said this is the type of fight where raw talent alone won't decide anything. Both fighters will need to prove they can absorb, adjust, and respond to everything the other man brings from start to finish.
Dealing with a talent like that, how could it be? You know what I'm saying? What I love about the fight is Xander is big, young, strong, skillful, and he's not afraid. Boots, we know he trying to bring everything to the table, the speed, the power, just the lights. He bringing everything to it. I think it's a great test for Boots because this is a guy who you could say is durable. You can say he's durable because he's never been stopped. I never even seen him go down. You know what I mean? So it's not like we talking about a chump. You know what I mean? He coming to fight. And I think this kid being young will make some...
Abner Mares believed the matchup arrived prematurely for Zayas at this point in his career, particularly considering how consistently dangerous Boots Ennis is as an opponent regardless of circumstances. He explained that at this level, a single error can change everything, and warned that in a fight of this magnitude, one bad moment could potentially disrupt or even stall Zayas' long-term progression if things go against him inside the ring.
With that said, let's talk about the outside fighters. As I stated, it's very much rumored and more than likely possibly happening, Xander versus Boots. How do you see that fight going? Do you think maybe Xander's a little bit too young there?
Too soon.
Too soon. You think
Too
it's
soon,
too soon?
brother. Yeah, I love Sanders, and if he waits and if he's smart and his team is smart, they'll hold on at least 2 more fights, and then release him to the wolves. And I'm just speaking realistic in how I see it, because I wouldn't want him to lose a really hard.
Abner Mares also explained that he did not see much value in trying to rank Boots Ennis, Zayas, and Virgil Ortiz against each other at that stage, since all 3 fighters were highly skilled and still rapidly improving. He said the only legitimate way to separate them was for them to face one another directly, allowing their performances inside the ring to determine who truly belongs at the very top of the division.
One, who would be 2, who would be 3?
Yeah, I don't like ranking these guys, man. They're so good. They're so talented. I don't have favorites. I like them all. I like them all. They're all, and I think that they're gonna prove us, by fighting each other soon or fighting, amongst each other. They're gonna prove to show us who's number 1 and who's number 2. Right now, I have them top, both of them, all of them.
All 3 of them.
Xander Zayas versus Jaron Boots Ennis was more than just another matchup. It stood as a defining point for an entire era of rising welterweights. Experts remained split in their opinions, with predictions scattered in every direction. The only consensus was that once these two finally entered the ring, a significant moment was guaranteed to unfold. Either Zayas would silence the criticism and shock the boxing world, or Boots would further solidify his reputation as the division's most dominant force. It was the type of fight capable of reshaping careers in an instant. So the real question remained, who would ultimately leave the ring with everything on the line? Could Zayas deliver a major upset, or would Boots once again prove that no one at 154 pounds truly matches his level? Viewers were encouraged to share their prediction, like the video, and subscribe for more coverage, as the channel continued delivering weekly breakdowns, elite boxing analysis, and major fight discussions.